With this multiplicity technique, we're going to look at how to cut out part of a person or make them invisible. So here's a few examples of that. So you can see in this picture the clone is missing the face and then part of the shirt that gets cut out. In this example, same idea, they have their hood up and then the body gets cut out. And then this one is a different take on the idea, but there still is part of the person that's invisible. So think about if you want to make part of the person invisible or hidden behind something as well. So this is a different sort of idea on it. If you're doing this for your final project, when you're taking your pictures, the first step's important to set up your tripod and then take a picture of just the background. So no clones in the background yet. And then have the person move in front of the camera in a few different spots for each photo, making sure that the person has either a hat on or a coat or something that's going to kind of hide where or what parts you want to make invisible. The other thing with this, remember, when you're taking pictures for your project, is that you do need at least 4 clones. So make sure you have at least 4 clones repeating somewhere in your image, unlike some of these examples. But here's the entire image that you're going to be practicing with using those practice photos that are supplied for you, but cutting out and making the person invisible in these 4 different spots. To get started, you're going to go to File, and then Scripts, and Load Files into Stack. And then I'm going to hit Browse and find where I have the pictures saved. Pictures, I'm going to highlight them and hit Open. Make sure you check off the Attempt to automatically align source images and then hit OK. And it might take a minute, so give it some time to load all of those files into a stack for you. The pictures that we're working with are in a stack over here. And the first step is going to be to add a mask to your first layer. So I have a mask added. Once that mask is added, I'm going to grab the paintbrush, make sure my setting across the top here is set to normal, 100% opacity, and the color is set to black. And then I'm just going to mask off all of the sections of the picture that I want to stay in the image. So every part that you actually want to be invisible is what should show up within your image right now. So I'm going to erase the pants and the coat, and then I'm just going to leave the shirt, the hair, and the face. So that way when I am finished and I invert my mask, everything that I'm erasing now are the parts that are going to be left. I would definitely recommend zooming in to really get good detail here, but you can always go back and edit since we're using the mask instead of the eraser tool. You can go back and touch up the areas that you masked off. Again, just taking my time going around here, making sure just that coat is selected, getting the pants out of the image, and then moving down here and just quickly masking off the boots. And if there is a shadow in your picture, make sure you get that shadow included. And then I'm going to hit Command I, and that brings everything back and then makes that part of the image invisible. At this point, I would go back and maybe touch up a few areas. So if we make our brush a little smaller, I can leave my color set to black and just mask out any areas that I might have missed. I can fix some of these spots of the shirt here, make those see-through, touch up some of the hair, bring this around the top as well of the hood here. So then when I zoom out, I have everything selected that I need to have that first clone invisible. So now I'm going to hide my first layer, click on my second one, add a mask, and do the same thing. So again, just using the paintbrush set to black, I am masking off all of the areas that I want to stay. So leaving just the hair and the shirt. So go ahead and go through all of your clones, and I'll come back and show you a few areas that we'll have to touch up with the shadows. But take your time going around these areas, try to touch them up as you go once you invert your masks. Now I brought back all of those clones once I finished. I would just look at touching up maybe some of the shadows in the background. So as I'm adding this here, she's losing her shadow. So I'm going to switch to my white color and just make sure that when I hide this, I'm on the right layer. I have the mask selected, and then I can go in and try to bring back that shadow a little bit more. This top layer though is hiding the rest of the shadow. So when I hide it, you can see the shadow right here show up. So I need to click back on that top mask there and switch my color to black to bring the shadow back into the rest of the image. So that's the main spot. The other area is on this third layer here where some of that shadow gets lost. So again, just make sure that you're bringing back all of the shadows within the image. Once everything's done, make sure you crop the photo, add your levels and curves, save it as a JPEG, and then submit on Classroom.